Hi, guys. How are you? I'm just kind of getting myself comfortable. All right. So I'm excited about the live today. My camera's a little smudged. Give me a sec. Hi. So today we're looking at how do you read a tarot card, right? And I was like, okay, I've done this. I've looked at the cards with you guys and everything, but how do I do it during a reading? Now, you saw my reading last week, right? And you saw I was kind of naturally getting into the right energy, right? And I was interpreting it and very much through my intuition, very much through, it was very much intuition, very much what I feel guided through, my guides, through, the people, my people in the spirit world. And it was a really beautiful reading, actually, which I was really, really happy to share with you guys. So what am I going to do that's a little different today is I'm going to just kind of pick a card and explain to you how I kind of intuitively, but also using the meaning of the card and also what I feel led that stands out in the card for me for that particular reading. Okay. So I'm going to do, once again, I forgot in my last few videos, but I am using my Light Seer Tarot deck today and Sacred Destinies, our Oracle cards as well today. So just for those that want to know, once again, Sacred Destiny Oracle cards and Light Seer Tarot cards. You can find them on Amazon, by the way, super easy. And they were my first two loves, the Light Seer as my tarot deck and the Sacred Destiny as my Oracle deck. So I'm going to do probably at least two of each today, and we'll see how long that takes. And then I might keep on going. I'm going to kind of go with the flow. All right. So today I'm just going to mix my cards. I already mixed them up. I did prepare them. I did dedicate them, and I didn't do the smudging and everything, but I will do that with you guys, and I will explain a little bit why I do all that probably in a future video. Just today I'm going to strictly stick to what the card is and how I interpreted it and why. Kiddo? Awesome. So I'm going to take actually, you know what? Nice, big, deep, grounding breath. And be here very powerfully, very in the present right now in this moment. Once again. All right. So I'm going to start by mixing up my tarot deck ever so slightly. Like I said, I've already prepared them, so I don't want to mix too much. I don't want to get too in my head with it. So lightly mixing tarot deck, and I always mix a little bit between each card as well. Lightly mixing my Oracle deck as well. All right. So let's pull a card from the tarot deck. This card's like really standing out. All right. Ooh, Four of Pentacles. This can be a challenging card. Okay. It speaks of insecurities, but also of not letting go and not sharing necessarily. Okay, so let's look. So what I had looked at with you guys in the previous videos when I looked at Pentacles, right? Pentacles is grounding, but also it's about like what's going on in our minds, right? What kind of challenges or victories are we dealing with psychologically? And it touches on the emotional as well, because as soon as it's here, it does affect here, but it's very much a lot more psychological, whereas the cups, let's say the Suit of Cups, is a lot more emotional. But it's also with relationships and whatnot. And that's what I love about the minor arcana, is that they all kind of work together. So just to remind you, Pentacles is affiliated with the element of earth, right? So grounding and what we see here, the Four of Pentacles, sometimes we have a tendency to hold on to the material, hold on to the, it's also connected to what we have, and we don't share necessarily. That kind of stuff. And you see how she's holding on to her purse really, really strongly. And so how do I interpret that? Well, there's a few ways I can, right? It can be, okay, insecurity about money, because maybe in the past I've had struggles with my finances, and finally I've worked my butt off and I have the finances at the right place, but sometimes it becomes something unhealthy. And as you can see here, there's even like a little bit of pride in her face, and there's like she has her eyes closed, and it's like no, and she seems very closed off. And it's one of the reasons why I choose my tarot decks very carefully, because it's very important that I'm able to connect with my cards. There's a tarot, is it a tarot deck? Yeah, there's a tarot deck that I'm going to be giving away because I just don't relate to it at all. And I give it a try. I didn't pay it very much. I found it used secondhand. It was a beautiful deck. It had barely been used, but it just didn't connect with it. And so the reason why I bring that in is because this deck, the Light Seer deck, is truly one of those decks that I connect with all of the cards, and the energy of the deck really vibes with me. And so here, once again, coming back to the card, it could also mean that so I said that, like, it could be that there's like an insecurity around money, and there's like, not wanting to share and whatnot. But what's another way we can interpret this? Well, it could also be that, things are so tight, and, there's it's up and down. You have money, you have less, you have money, you have less. It can represent so many different things. So, trying to be too prudent and like too planning and stressing yourself out with money and whatnot. So that's another way of interpreting this card. Often, I have to say, sometimes it doesn't have to do with money. Funny enough, sometimes it's about things, right? Material things. It won't necessarily be about the finances per se. So let's say, I don't know, there's someone around you that needs help, or that, there's something that you've needed for a while and you're not getting it. And so you finally get it. And then there'll be like the reason why I give this example is because there's an unhealthy attachment to the physical things that we have, and things come and go, right? And sometimes this card can represent that we're too connected to, the house that we have and everything that we have, and that, we give value, or we put our own personal value into those physical things, which is not, a healthy connection with, let's say, myself. If I give, if I'm so nervous and so, how can I say, if I'm so insecure that, if I don't have all these physical things, I'm limiting myself in my happiness because I don't have all the things that I want, then I'm doing it to myself. So I'm not going to get too much into that, more than I just did. But I hope that this clarifies to you that there's several ways you can receive about a card, right? So I'm really glad that one of the less happy cards came up, because it's really, our shadows are as important, and our struggles and the things and our insecurities and the more vulnerable sides of us and our fears are as important as our beautiful side and our light and the things that we're good at and whatnot. And it's really important. And it's one of the reasons why I enjoy the tarot and use the tarot deck so much, because it really allows us to look at the more vulnerable, fearful sides of ourselves as well. All right, so let's look at a oracle card. All right. All right. Ooh, yes. Okay. So this card as well, wisdom. Okay. Now I love wisdom because wisdom is like one of those cards that can be so many things, but I really believe that it like speaks of inner wisdom, right? And I'm going to be quoting Shifu from Kung Fu Panda, but inner peace, but inner wisdom, right? And the reason why this is so, it's one of my favorite cards is because when we look for wisdom, we have the reflex of looking for the wisdom in people around us. But truly, the best wisdom and the most valuable and the wisdom that I have come to learn to focus on is my own, right? How to trust me, how to trust my wisdom, how to trust my instinct, how to trust what I know to be truth and what I know to be not truth, right? Untruths, or I don't like calling them lies because it's not necessarily lies, but it's not my truth, right? And so this card, now it can be many different things. Wisdom can be our own inner wisdom. It can be choices that we make. Is that a wise choice, right? If it depends. If you're asking me for a career or job card, or like studies card, it could be, okay, what is my truth? What's the wisdom that I know inside of me, right? Is it wise for me to, make the choice that I'm unsure? Like, what do I really want, right? How do I connect with myself and my inner wisdom completely or properly, right? And so it could be that, like, you see how this beautiful kind of ethereal mermaid is going down into the deep ocean and deep diving. So how do we connect with our wisdom? Well, often it's by deep diving inside of ourselves. You see how I can interpret that, because she's diving deeper into the ocean and you can see, the coral reef, you see the fish, the starfish here, and you see how there's a bit of light, but it's a lot of darkness too. And I love that, because it really allows us to see that we need to understand what we don't want and what makes us uncomfortable and why that makes us uncomfortable, as much as we need to understand, well, I really want this and I really want that, but I don't want this. And you understand? So once again, circumstantially, and that's why it's so important that I receive from your guides and your people in the spirit world, because a reading will be specifically for you in your circumstance. And that's why I'll ask you a few simple but powerful questions, just to make sure that I'm connecting well and I'm being guided in a way that can truly help and support you in what you're experiencing and the choices that you'll need to be making. I hope that makes sense. So there you go. That's the wisdom card. We're at 13 minutes, so I think I'm going to do one more of each. I'm going to mix it a little bit, just ever so lightly. Nothing too... All right, let's do this. Beautiful. Oh, this is a major arcana card, whereas we had the Four of Pentacles, which was a minor arcana. I'm so glad I got a major arcana. So the High Priestess. The High Priestess is, as you can see, the second card of the Major Arcana Journey. For those of you that are not sure what that means, I have a video on my YouTube videos that I have posted in the last 4 weeks that is very all about the Major Arcana. So you can go watch that if you like. if you want more information about the major arcana. I'm not going to get into explaining what the major arcana is, but I will get into the High Priestess today. So the High Priestess, as you can see, she has her eyes closed, but do you see the eyes painted onto her eyes? So seeing, it really connects well with the wisdom card. Actually, I'm really, really happy that this card came up, and it's a really beautiful connection to what we just looked at. So that inner, once again, wisdom, looking at inside for our answers instead of scrambling and looking for our answers outside of ourselves. Now you see how I just naturally interpreted that this is the inner wisdom that she's looking at, right? And you see the moon here, so the feminine energy, the really strong, beautiful, intuitive side of her. And once again, okay, you see all that beautiful, I'm going to bring it closer. You see how like you have the cosmos here, the light, the dark, right? We have a few runes here. Okay, we're very much connecting with our spiritual side and our intuitive side in this card. The Priestess is very comfortable with who she is. She knows who she is. She knows who she isn't. She knows what she wants. She knows what she doesn't want. And there's a very comfortable self-trust and love as well. There's just a lot of intuition. And I love, like I said, there's the light and the dark. And so she's allowing herself to experience her light, her light, her strengths, her everything that makes her that beautiful, empowered woman that she is. But at the same time, she's allowing herself to experience the more vulnerable, fearful side of herself, because that part of her needs as much care and attention as her light, right? And so you see how I kind of naturally connect with this. Is what it just so happens, it's one of my favorite cards as well in the major arcana. You're going to hear me say that about a few cards though, so I really, really love the tarot deck, as you can tell. So just kind of another way that you can interpret, I want to give a second example of how you can interpret this card is you can really, it could also be about a woman that needs to step into her power, or even a man, okay? Because each man and woman has that feminine and masculine power inside of them that's important, just as important one as the other, right? And that needs to be nurtured. We need to, both men and women need to nurture our feminine and our masculine energy inside of us. And so I might explain what the masculine and feminine energy is a bit later, but just to give you an example, the feminine is more nurturing, more, caretaker, but also strong in who she is and in her emotions. And then you'll have the masculine, which is the one that needs to put personal boundaries down, and that takes the decisions and is more of a leader and the yes/no person, right? In ourselves. And so just giving you a very quick example of the masculine and the feminine energy inside of ourselves. And so here, I believe that both are represented as well, but I think the focus is here on the feminine, in the flow and the allowing and the emotional and the nurturing and the patience as well, part of us. And so sometimes we need to take care of that part of ourselves, because especially women, but men too. Now it's not especially women, it's men and women have a tendency, we're hard with ourselves, right? Where we want, no, that was so stupid, why did I do that? And we're hard with ourselves. We have that inner dialogue that can be very harsh. And sometimes we just need to take a step back and just be more patient and loving, like we would do with a friend or a family member that we love, and just turn that love and that patience and that consideration and that kindness towards ourselves. So there you go. That's a few examples of how you can interpret a tarot card. So those were one minor arcana, one major arcana. So let's do one more oracle card. And I'm just going to mix this up really quick. Beautiful. All right. Oh, yes. This is one of the, it's a very eclectic card. You can really understand a few things from this. It's a more of a general, so this is Illumination. So one of the first things that jumps out at me right now is the light. There's a lot of light, but there's also a bit of darkness. Once again, to really go well with our light and dark here, our light and dark in our wisdom card. Now, the reason why I point this out is to show you that it's very easy to see the connections between the oracle or the tarot cards that you will be pulling, and to see the similarities and how the reading kind of comes together. So it's easy for me to see that the focus on these cards, and even in this one, has been there's darkness and light, and that both are just as important one as the other in the cards that I've pulled today, which is beautiful. I love that there's a theme in the cards that I've pulled today. And so you see there's a lot of light and there's a reflection of it, right? So you have the beauty here, and then you have it's reflected here. But you also have a little bit of the cosmos up here. You have a bit of darkness here, but it's very peaceful. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of peace, and there's a lot of peace in this card as well. And there's a lot of peace in this card as well. And so once again, we're finding the parallels. And so how else can I interpret this? It's time to take a step back. You could interpret this card to rejuvenate and to be quiet and to fill your own cup and to step away from the everyday routines and craziness and to just be with yourself. So this Illumination card really can be in so many different circumstances. Another example I can give you is it's time to step out of the uncertainty and to make a decision. And illumination can be that we choose to be in that, to be in action, but at the same time to inspire ourselves, to be inspired, to allow ourselves to like take that action without it being forced and why aren't you doing this yet? And no, just allowing and exploring and trying different things. Illumination can be so many things. And once again, I'm going to put the emphasis on that it's important that I ask you simple, powerful questions so that I can truly read the cards for your needs and your questions and the clarity that you need. All right. So I hope that this was clarifying for you. It's been really, I love doing these kinds of lives because it really reminds me how much I love tarot readings and using tarot as a way and a tool to really serve you as my client and as a client, tarot client, So I hope that this brought you value. And if you like my content, I would love for a like and subscribe. It supports me as a mom at home, having my own business here. And in my last video, I did speak about my prices, but as a reminder, I do two kinds of tarot readings. My biggest package is $149. We do a Zoom reading or in-person reading, depending on where you are. And I record it on Zoom. And then I send you the recording. I send you a picture of the cards, and I send you a resume, like a quick wrap up of an overview, there you go, of your reading so that you can go back and have something quick to look at. And then my second package is it's a recording instead of it being live in person or live on Zoom or in person. So this one is recorded, and I put it in a private link. Both, by the way, I put them on private links on YouTube, and I send them to you in the email that I send the pictures in. And after with the recorded, I send you the YouTube recorded link, and I send you a picture of the cards that I've pulled for you so that you can look at them while you're listening to the recording. And that one is 129 as well. So first one, the live either on Zoom or in person, is 149, and the second one is recorded and sent to you via email, and that one is 129. All right, you guys, thanks so much. I hope that you enjoyed my live, and I look forward to seeing you this Thursday. I'm going to be doing my live from Quebec. I'm going to my brother's wedding, and we'll be doing my live on Thursday in Quebec. Take care, guys. Bye.